You can't just start the timer and then tell me that I'm introing.
Go.
I need time to.
A professional would not need time.
Go.
Well, I'm not a professional. Welcome to the Shit House podcast, where we chat shit. Buckle up, bitches. You're in for a ride.
I like it.
Welcome.
Very honest.
There you go.
Right then. There should be quite a lot of questions, seeing as we went here last week with being a bank holiday and all that.
Took a day off, did you? Part time?
Is that the last bank holiday, or is there one more? One more, isn't there?
There's one in August, I think.
Correct. Anyway, less of the small talk. Let's get on with it. First question. What would you say if someone is thinking of potentially moving gyms? What needs to be thought about and what could be the deciding factors?
Is the manager a cunt?
You've just volunteered yourself. Go on, Sky.
I would actually be thinking about my clients. Is it accessible for them? Is it going to add loads of time onto their journey? Is there parking? If there is it free? Is it paid? Is it going to be more of an inconvenience to get to that gym? Or if it is more of an inconvenience, is the gym somehow better? Is it bigger, more equipment? If they're going to join as a member, what's the price difference? Is it going to be pretty much the same? Is it going to be a lot more? Is it going to be cheaper? I would probably have trained there for a bit to get a feel for it. How busy is it? Is it busy or quiet in the times that I'm going to be coaching my clients? What's the potential for building my business there? What is the team like? I would want to know that. Obviously, then things like what is the rent? Is there opportunity for paid hours? Do you want to do paid hours or not? But mainly I'd be thinking about the changes, the positives for clients. What would they get? Like for me and my clients moving there, what would be the positives? And if it is going to inconvenience them in some way, are there more benefits that they wouldn't get by staying in the gym that we're at now? Those would be what I would consider. What would you consider?
The only thing I would add to that is what's driving the decision. So I would do a bit of a deep thinking on what is exactly driving that thought or them decisions. I'd be intrigued to understand that from myself. Frustration. Is it feel like a lack of challenge? I don't know. You need to get to the root of what's potentially making you feel like you need a change, because sometimes it just boils down to taking stock of what you have, redoing some goals, giving yourself some clarity of what it you've got in the gym that you're in, and how can you minimize the potential bullshit that goes on around you and focus on you and only you. And is that the place that can help you achieve your goals immediately and potentially long term? Anything you would add, Nick?
No.
Good question.
How would you filter through the tasks and projects to decide which should be done now or next and what can be left?
I mean, obviously, like what the aim of the business is, but I think contextually having like you've got to have a few things going on, I believe, whether it's from a marketing sense, what's going on now and what needs to happen now versus what needs to be prepped and happen like tomorrow or next month or prepping. I've just had a conversation with someone and we're just kind of going through 3 different campaigns, what we're going to do first and why. And moving through that is really important, but that's based on like his timeline, his business over the next 3 or 4 months. So I think definitely it comes down to what's urgent. We spoke about this last week, didn't we? What's urgent and important. Like there's 2 different things there, because you can probably label a lot of things as important, but absolutely not everything is urgent, even though it might feel like it's urgent. So I would relentlessly work your way through all the things, tasks and projects that you have. Maybe you go through a rating system of importance and then urgency and rate each task and project in relation to what you're trying to achieve. So I would definitely kind of, first of all, get everything out of your head. Secondly, kind of work out a rating system on how you can prioritize that from an urgency, i.e. time domain, and an importance in relation to what you want to achieve, and then work your way through that, because it's very easy to determine everything as being important, especially when you're self-employed, but not everything is urgent. So I would definitely, that's genuinely how I'd kind of, go through it. Anything you would add? Didn't think so. Such a good answer. Pat on the back. Anthony, how to maximize the value of your client group chat? Go.
I think personally, you've got to think of what they want to get, what's possible for them to get out of it, and what would they want out of it. Listen, nobody wants another group chat in a lot of ways, do they? Like, they're always in a lot of group chats. So the end goal is for it to become valuable, as the question asks. But what does that look like through a client's eyes? Like, what would they find really valuable? And if I'm dead honest, the group chat it's a group chat for a reason. You want them to chat between themselves. So a lot of the time, the end goal with any group chat is for them to start to engage with themselves, where you step away and they kind of run it, if that makes sense, where your clients are going in and asking questions, and maybe experienced clients or more confident clients can relate, understand, answer some of the questions, all of that. Although it takes a while for it to get to that point. And the only way it gets to that point is by you investing a lot of time into it initially. Initially, it's you probably spending a few hours a week going in, asking questions that sparks a bit of curiosity between the group for them to respond. You will always get a few keen ones, which is great, that will answer first and will express their opinion. And as long as it's not going to piss a hell of a lot of other people off, then that's fine. Maximizing the value of it is you initially investing the time into it, asking questions, opening it up as a forum. It's the whole point of it. Opening it up as a bit of a forum, get them to engage, maybe using things like the poll functionality and stuff like that to get people answering questions and then sparking topics off the back of it. But that's how I would start. Listen, the end goal for most coaches is what I explained at the start of the answer, to get them in it more. So to do that, loads of questions from you, loads of polls. It doesn't always have to be fitness, training, nutrition related. Like, it really doesn't. So the more that you can invest that time into it at the start, you will reap the rewards of it later. Like, for argument's sake, when a new client comes in, like, other people will start to welcome them, and then it'll just become a safe place where they can ask questions, help each other out. And probably the lowest level of priority is you adding more value in terms of, here's a video on education on this, education on that. Like, you might do that now and again, but the value in the group chat is for them to feel part of a really easy to access community. So the way you do that is how I've just explained. Anything you would add that helps? No? Good. Do people actually look at emails, and is it beneficial for me as a business? I often don't see emails or just think it's junk. Good question, Sky.
Yeah, I think it is a good question. But I think, yes, beneficials are beneficials. Emails are beneficial as a business. And I never used to send emails because I was also not really an email reader. But I don't even know if this came from you two or somewhere else.
Was it good?
You can tell me in a second, Nick.
Good
If you let me finish my sentence, then you can tell me. It's normally Ant that's the spicy one. Nick's being spicy today. If social media was deleted tomorrow, how would you communicate with people?
Definitely.
And if you
That was definitely us.
if you don't have an answer to that, then that's a problem. So email list, like, imagine your account goes missing tomorrow. You've got an email list where you can contact people, let them know, give them your new account. Or it's just another way, especially when emails go directly to someone's inbox. They don't disappear after 24 hours. You're not relying on an algorithm. And these people have actually opted in to receive your information. So for me, yes, definitely. I think what you have to figure out is, what do people want in emails, or what value can you give in emails that you don't give elsewhere, or how can you give a little bit more so that people don't think it's junk. And I had this conversation a few times with people this week about how to get more people to open more of your emails. And we talk about this a lot, but I think it's a great way of storytelling. It's a great way of letting people get to know you a little bit more, or telling client stories. I'm on someone's email list whose social media content I love, podcast content I love, but she has the same title for her weekly email, and I've stopped reading it, even though I know it's got good stuff in it. I'm bored of seeing the same. She calls it a weekly Q&A recap, where she just takes all the questions she's been answered that week and puts the answers. And whenever I have opened them, they've been like quite good. But for me, it's more of the like storytelling or the curiosity based emails, the problem solving emails. Yeah, to answer the question, they are beneficial. They're another way of directly talking to the people that want more from you. And if you don't value emails, maybe you need to join a few more email lists and see what you get out of them and what you value and like about them. that's another thing that helped me, was joining a lot of other people's email lists and seeing different styles. Some people send really long emails that I don't like, so I don't send very long emails. Other people send really short ones, storytelling, value-based. Some people just take what they put on social media and flesh it out and put it into emails. So I think you need to figure out what would work best for you, because they are beneficial, and sometimes it's just our own beliefs about it that stop us doing it, as it seems like another thing rather than part of the overall business, and you do need more touch points with people. So what would you add?
Not a lot, actually. Very well answered question.
Really
The only
nice.
thing I would add to that is social
yeah.
media isn't going to go down, is it? It's not going to go down for long if it does. Like, to argue back the point that that's simply not going to happen, it's obviously another reason to have one. I think the other side of it is it shows a different side to you, and you've got to understand that people are going to have different types of personalities and take information in different ways. So that 15-second reel with a bit of writing over it that you put out on Instagram might be a 2-minute read on email, but that will appeal to some other people. So all you're doing is connecting the dots for people in their own way. And I think when you've got a free service to be able to do that, more or less, you should absolutely access it and maximize it. But it's also worth doing market research to see how much of your market do open their emails, have a look at emails and all of that. Because I reckon it'll be more than you think. And what types of emails, normally, what do they usually open? Because you look at your own email habits, like I'll open the same emails from the same companies, but with different subject lines that just bring me in now and again. So there's not many I open, there's a lot I get, but you'll find that there's a trend and theme in your own actions of what you open, which might help too. Next question, please, Sky. You asked Nick, thank you.
How would you advise dealing with inquiries when you have no capacity, in terms of how do I keep them warm in a way where the door is very much ajar rather than closed?
And can you answer this one? Because I've already answered this for this person.
I would do some form of paid waiting list, and that might look like paid programming. It might look, depends on the, I suppose, what it is that you offer. It might look like a paid offering where you, I don't know, do a small group coaching style delivery of a call a week or call bi-weekly to go through nutrition. I don't know, like come up with an offering of the main problem that your market is trying to solve, and provide some element of low barrier solution, A, to have a financial return, B, to get some skin in the game, C, to start to eliminate people who aren't committed. I think that works really well. Worked for me years ago from a programming aspect. So yeah, that's, for me, that's how I would deal with it, to keep them engaged, to keep them warm, and for it not to take me a lot more than, I don't know, an hour a week. Is that any different to what you asked, you said?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, good. That's good then, isn't it?
It is good.
Fantastic.
Anything you'd add, Sky?
Yeah, I was just thinking how I would do this, and I think maybe giving them like a trial period within my community. Depends, obviously, what she's making a waiting list for. For me, I'm online, it's very easy for me to do that. It wouldn't be as easy to do if it's in person, small group or one-to-one. But maybe if there was something that I do regularly for clients, like I will sometimes open up our webinars and let people come in and see my clients interacting with each other, me interacting with them. Yeah, it could be, if there's something that she does regularly, this person does regularly for the community, the clients, maybe giving people an insight. So it's not extra work, but it does show how they do things. If I was like at my limit for capacity and time, that would be something I would think, what do I already do and how can I let people in to see that? That's just another way that I would think about it.
Next question, I'll ask Nick, seeing as though he swerved the last one. I'm always finding that no matter how much I time schedule, I'm either super proactive then, but if one thing throws me off, I find it such a struggle to get back into the swing of things. Any advice?
First bit of advice I would give you is that you can't expect to operate at a level all the time where you're super productive. And I think accepting the days where it's just hard to get going, or ideas aren't coming as fast, or constant distractions bring up, it's just a part of the process. What I would look at, are there any particular triggers that is forming a pattern for you? Is it a certain type of work, certain type of distraction? Is it something that is externally affecting your confidence about what you're about to do. You know, we've talked a hell of a lot about people getting off their phone and getting off social media over the last few weeks, haven't we? And the change in some of the guys has been insane just by literally not having that type of exposure every hour to what other people are doing. So I would look at maybe looking at if there are any patterns, any triggers, any of the types of work blocks that are particularly kind of sticking out where you're finding yourself getting off track and it really throwing you off and whatnot. So that's the first thing I would say is look at the triggers and whatnot first. And then I think once you can kind of understand those, it's pretty straightforward and what you can then start to do to minimize those. But yeah, that's what I would advise. Any suggestions?
Yeah, go on.
No, go on.
I was reading this question and thinking about like a client that is either on it, and then one thing throws them off and then they are off. And something that I would do with them is look at exactly like you said, you're not expected to do exactly the same week in, week out, but what you could start to figure out is what is the absolute non-negotiables minimum that I need to get done each week, or that I want to get done. Like that's going to be my bare minimum. And then what would a really fucking great, productive, super proactive week look like, and aim to be within that range instead of it has to be this or it's fucked. Because that gives you a bit of flexibility to work with, and it also lets you flex with your energy, other demands that you've got going on in life, and it stops you feeling like a bit of a failure. So sometimes having that, like, this is the list of absolutely need to get these things done. Here's what I'd really love to get done on top of that. And I'll put that into my schedule, but it's not as urgent as these other things. And then it becomes more of a positive, right, I've got all the main stuff done, didn't get the extras, but that's okay. I can move that to here. That's just an approach that works for me, and I've used that with clients who've kind of struggled with the same thing.
Anthony, anything else? Didn't think so.
I did have a lot to say on that, but do you know what? You can go and fuck yourself.
You didn't though, did you? That's a good
I genuinely did.
Well then, don't let this person down by not sharing your views.
Forget it. All right, forget it.
The drama queen.
The only thing that I was about to say is it's two things. The first one is that when you are self-employed and you don't feel productive, it's easy to be mega hard on yourself. A bit like you said at the start. And that you being hard on yourself is a good thing because it's good standards. But at the same time, it's recognising, does that take you into a bit of a failure spiral of going, fucking hell, like this is now demotivating me that much that I can't pluck up the productivity to do the shit that I need to do. I think what you said at the start is the level of acceptance on not every week is going to be mega productive is really, really, really important, because that can fuck your mindset up big time. And you can really struggle for motivation then to get back on track, if that makes sense. And then the other thing is you said triggers, Nick. A big tooth of mine that might resonate with others is that if I've had a pattern of really shit sleep the week before, normally the knock-on effect for me is productivity in the next week. And what we'll normally see a trend is my screen time on my phone will go higher because I'm tired and it's an easy, comfortable thing to look at and easier to face into that. So that's a sign for me, like that, or the days I don't train, my screen time will be higher. For some weird reason, I'm nowhere near as productive. So I know sleep and training are massive benefits to me from a productivity perspective. So it's being aware from on your own back that what are them triggers, what are them things, and what things need to be in place. You're not always going to have them in place, but knowing them massively helps with that. Told you it was worth it. Fucking unbelievable.
You listened to a word of that.
Didn't you? What I did is repeated what you said.
Repeated what we said.
But I was more specific and direct, give practical examples instead of fucking beating around the bush like you two pricks.
All over, isn't it, Ant?
Fucking knobheads. Next question, please. Anybody? If you all had to go into a commercial gym and start a PT business, what would some of the first few things you put yourself in a good position for success?
Yes.
Answer the fucking question.
Hang on. Best possible position. I think I would be on the gym. Well, first of all, I would be on the gym floor every second of the day, literally. Gym floor all day. Generally, all day, every day, I would be. If I was going to walk into a gym tomorrow, I would be hanging around and trying to make conversations with people coming in and out of the group exercise. It's a big area where you get lots of footfall. It would be introducing myself to as many people, like literally day one, introducing myself to as many people as possible, helping as many people out as possible. Like on day one, that is what I would do. Like if I was starting today, that would be my week planned. Get in there every second I can, meet as many people as I can, let me many people as I can, let know who I am, what I do, help as many people out. And then probably the week after that, I would start some way of generating meaningful interactions, whether that be like comps, questionnaires, challenges, technique correction, workshops, getting involved with like as much as I possibly could. And I can guarantee by the end of the month, I'd have a full client base within weeks in a commercial gym, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Piece of piss!
Right. Right.
Next.
What are some coaching procedures / systems / habits you have in place that make your life and job easier / more efficient?
Okay, Scott. All right. Go on, Anne.
Brick.
Brick, yeah. I would say starting and finishing times. So your working day. That really helps me from a life job, making it a little bit more easier and more efficient. Can be a challenge also sometimes, but it just allows me to know when to shut on and off. And I think that's important when you run a self-employed business, because it puts pressure on you when you should be turning on. And then obviously it removes that pressure slightly when you're not in. That having set times for set priorities and tasks weekly. So when content is going to be done, created, that type of stuff, is really important for me. When I am doing certain things like working on separate projects, that's booked in and you're accountable for that to happen. So then actual processes within your working week, for you to be accountable to them, is just dead important, like really, really important. And it doesn't let you off the hook, if that makes sense. Because when you do miss it or tell yourself some bullshit as to why you have missed it, at the end of the day, you've not done your job. You've shied away from what you need to do to move forward. So that really helps from a systems and processes perspective. Set times for training, that really helps, because then it's out the way and it's something that we're all passionate about. If that's at a set fixed time every single day, that then helps knowing it's done, that you can go into your working day a little not thinking about training, because as we all do. That really helps me. What else? I would say that they're the main things. And then putting yourself in a position to cut out distractions. That's a good habit to get into, whether that be your phone or whatever. When your working time is your working time, then you need to try and shut yourself off from any distractions, because it's really easy to let yourself off the hook when you're self-employed. So I would say that they're the main things, but I literally live and die by the processes that are in my schedule. I'm not going to sit here and say it always goes to plan, but 80% of the time it does, and I'm pretty happy with that. So they're the things that make it easier and more efficient for me. Anything you two would add to that?
Just like obvious stuff, obvious systems, like I don't need to chase up payments because I have a payment system that does that. All my clients are set up. The direct debits go out at the same time each month. If one of them bounces or is missed, I get an email. I'm never chasing somebody to make a payment. Booking system, my booking system is up. People book a call, I get an email. I'm not manually booking people in. Even if people inquire, I send them to the booking link. Having an email sequence or a kind of sequence of, whether it's emails or I do mine as like a program of things when people join up. I don't have to manually do anything. Here's a video how to use the app, here's expectations, here's a goal setting session to do, reminders for check-ins each week. So again, people are getting that. Sometimes I will check in with people if they've not done it, but as much as I can automate things, I will, so that gives me time back to actually coach and make things personalized that needs to be personalized. So like the obvious stuff, those are things that I think I've worked with coaches that don't have those things in place. And then that takes up, it's tedious time, having to manually send out check-in or reminders every week, having to manually check payments, having to manually book people in for consultations. All of that is just time that you could get back so easily.
Good. Next. This is a really good question.
I'm lost.
All right. Next question is cereal a soup? Why or why not?
My first thought was no, because soup's hot, but then you can also have cold soup, and also you can have warm cereal.
Here's the biggest question to answer here is, do they make soup with milk?
Sure they do.
I don't think so. Sky?
No, they don't. It's normally a broth.
Broth.
Broth or a stock. Yeah, that's what you use. Vegetables, legumes, broth, stock, water.
Well,
You don't use milk.
Well, that's too much of an easy answer then.
I agree.
Also, it's typically savoury, not sweet.
I think that's probably one I'd go with.
Did you know, I found something out on the radio this morning as I drove back from the gym, that flakes, Cadbury's flakes, don't melt. They don't melt, apparently. Do you think that's why I do as well? I don't know why. Apparently they don't melt. Because
yeah, they do. Because when you get sweaty in the summer and you're having an ice cream and the flake in, and you hold your flake, it melts onto your fingers.
No. It doesn't actually melt like normal chocolate, though, does it? It just goes like white, and it tastes shit. It tastes like crap.
Well, this is all very useful information, isn't it? Who's going to go away and melt a flake now? Put it in the microwave, see what happens.
I know a few fucking melts that are flakes. You know what I mean?
I actually thought you were going to the next question, which is a good question.
Clearly lost. Thought that was it.
How do you divide up and juggle your time in and on your business effectively?
Who's that for?
Yeah, you answer that, because I answered the last one. It'd be pretty similar.
How do I divide up the time effectively? I don't want to give the obvious kind of just have work blocks, but there's the obvious one where it does have a pattern. I think one thing is in your business, I think it's a little bit easier because you, especially from a service point of view, because you've got, a regular pattern, or should do, of working directly with clients, whether that's online or face to face, giving feedback at certain times. So I think from that element, I think it's easy. I think that the on business side of things, I think we've actually answered quite a few times today in regards to like prioritization of tasks, having regular work blocks that are covering all elements of your business in each week, having big blocks of work in maybe monthly. So I think we've answered that in many different ways today, but it will always come back as well is to really thinking about, because when you first start like doing emails or doing software or doing this or doing that, you don't know how much time it's going to take. So I also think actually having a good handle on how much time things particularly take, and that will only take time to understand that, so that you then can like be more efficient with scheduling, because I think a lot of people kind of start something, get distracted because it gets hard or difficult, whether that's creatively or logistically, and then not really have a handle on how long that stuff takes. You know what I mean? I don't know if I've answered the question there, but I feel like I have given my opinion.
Yeah, I would have said the same. I think having an understanding of how long tasks take you, or how long you spend on each client, you could do it like that, each client, or it could be on tasks. But I also think a part of that is constantly reviewing what you get back from that thing. So if you spend loads and loads of time on social media posts, but you don't actually get much back from it, then maybe you need to readjust and post less on social media and put more into email marketing, because you actually get more from email marketing. It comes back to the question that someone asked earlier. You might not get as much from email marketing, so therefore you might put more time into social media, but you still do some email marketing. And that's the whole thing. It's just got to constantly be reviewed. Looking back over the past month, okay, I spent all my time here. What did I get back? Where do I get more from, and how can I adjust that? But that is going to constantly flex, or it is going to adapt over time, because you're going to get better at stuff.
Next question. It's a really good question, this, and we could probably do a podcast about it on its own.
AI.
Yeah, that one.
How would you rate the new Google One AI and Gemini Deep Research versus Chat GPT? I've heard it's better. If we want to start utilising AI as much as possible to help our business, what are your suggestions for things we might not have already considered?
I haven't used the new Google One AI or Gemini Deep Research.
Have you, Nick?
I haven't used Gemini, but I've used Google Research Platform.
Have you? And what are your thoughts?
Really good, but it's specific to Google, like Google's research. Do you know what I mean? So it obviously taps into that. I think, listen, if you are completely oblivious against AI and you're ignoring it, you're going to get left behind. There's not a shadow of a doubt. Like, it's a fact. If we don't look into AI more as a company, we will get left behind. It's just a fact. So I think you got to embrace it. You could sit here and kind of argue and go around the houses of, oh, it's not going to be as personal and blah, blah, blah. It's not. But there are going to be certain things in your business that AI will do way better, way quicker, way more efficient, cheaper. And that's just the reality. And if you don't embrace it, you are going to be left behind massively. Like it's how can I relate this to? I was thinking of a trend the other day. Like in 2016, if you were the ones that were early adopters of like YouTube and Instagram, you're paying dividends in 2020 and now. And we're kind of at that stage with AI. Like, and even now, it's not too late, but it's kind of like a little bit. It's kind of the right time. If you're ignoring this and you're waiting to see how it pans out, if it's real, you'll miss the boat. So you've got to get in there now and embrace it now, because in 2030, you'll look back and be like, I should have fucking gotten to that because I've missed out. And you're 5 years behind. So you've got to embrace it.
What would you say specifically are suggestions for things that they might not have already considered of how it can help?
I think, oh my God, like there's ChatGPT is like it's like a learning platform, right? It learns, but there's other things that will, you can build employees. It's the best way I can explain it, like staff members to do your marketing, to do your customer service, to write your programs, to do your check-ins, to all that shit. So I think it's more leaning in and trialing and learning more about those kind of things. It's not so much like what we haven't considered, but it's more about kind of opening your eyes now to things and trying things and learning off them and trialing them. Research, definitely. Obviously, teaching whatever AI platforms you've got now to perform as your like assistant. Like right now, everybody knows when ChatGPT has done an email or a post or whatever, right? We know. And people are getting savvy very quickly. And it won't wash the rest of I think from now on, really, you'll know exactly. So buildings, like what you haven't considered is it things, oh God, what was it called? There's one which you can't actually get publicly at the moment, but it will literally build you a website, like a high functioning, personalized graphics, opt-ins, everything. And there's what, I can't remember the name of it, I'll look it up. And you can see all the different hundreds of pages it's got open while it's building it. It's fucking mental, like it's crazy. But what have you not considered already? Well, right now, what you currently use it for, vast majority, is like content ideas and emails. Like it could build you an app, a platform, a website, build you an assistant. So those are the things you probably haven't considered. And I'm not really massively well versed in it at all. I'm just
I think people at the minute aren't thinking of it that way. I think people are using it to be creative or for information, when you need to remember that it's based on facts. It's not an actual intelligent, sentient being. It's taking all the information that everybody's given it and putting that back out. Whereas what we really should be using it for is stuff that you've just said, organizational stuff, tasks. Like if you had a personal assistant, you wouldn't be saying to them, write me a piece of content about metabolism, because it wouldn't fucking know. It would just maybe churn out things that it had read from different sources. Like that's what a person would do if you hired them as an assistant. So I think being very careful about seeing it that way as a virtual assistant that can help you organize, do tasks, spell check, rewrite things that you've already written. It might put things, you've got ideas and you've got information that you put in, and it rearranges them into a course that you could put together or whatever it might be. Use it for that, and then use your own creativity and your own knowledge and your own brain for all the other things. And that's what I'm seeing at the minute is people are not. And I can see, like you said, a mile off, I can see when someone's asked AI to write a post. And if we do that, it's all going to end up, again, we already all sound the same, but we're going to sound even more the same. And it's not factual information that you're putting out. So I think if you see it as a virtual assistant that can help you do things quicker, be more organized, build things for you that maybe you're not tech savvy enough to do, great. But it shouldn't replace your knowledge or your thoughts or your opinions.
Your thoughts, Anthony?
What are my thoughts? I think using it for speed and efficiency of things. Like you look at now, we used to help coaches with go off and work on an empathy map, which could sometimes take them 2 weeks to really double down on. Now it's taking most coaches 2 hours. And coming back, and I'm confident saying this, that when they've challenged AI and they've challenged themselves to be really specific, coming back with a by far better written empathy map than they could have done on their own. So is that saving them time? Is that preventing them from being creative and really understanding their audience? I don't think it is. I think it's actually helping a lot of the coaches that we're working with at the minute have speed and efficiency over understanding their market. I really do. So there's huge benefits in that. There's huge benefits then on giving them a little bit of a leg up in terms of ideas and structure for the work that they avoid, i.e. content and, like you said, emails. Giving them a good understanding of speed and efficiency around marketing plans and stuff like that. So I think if you need something at the moment to give you a bit of a leg up on that stuff that you're not really great at, it's using it for that is a great tool. But yeah, just kind of summarizing your points, I think looking at stuff that you're not so great at, like maybe that is project management, organizing tasks, getting everything out of your head and into something to help you as a bit of a VA/PA, I think is a wise move. And it's definitely something that I'll be spending more time doing over the next few weeks to help me out in that side of things, because I haven't used it for that at the minute. I've very much used it alongside coaches to help them work through things faster. But very aware as well on the negative side of that. It's easy to stop thinking for yourself and doing the stuff that you don't like and passing it on. You've got to have some form of process where, let's say for argument's sake, you're trying to understand your audience more. You are thinking through that first and producing all of that information before you go into ChatGPT. Because if you go into ChatGPT first, you're going to struggle to critically think for yourself in anything soon. So yeah, that's my thoughts. Next question is how to get more confident doing lead gen on the gym floor. Sky Hill.
I feel like we talk about this every week. And my answer is pretty much the same. I think you have to stop seeing it as I'm going out there to get something from people and see it as it is my job and my duty to go out and help people and get to know them on the gym floor and make their experience in this gym better. And I'm doing that by going out and doing lead gen, whether that's a survey, whether that's offering assistance, whether that's putting on a mini workshop, whether that's taking people through some exercises or stretching or just having a conversation with somebody. We have to change our mindset around what lead gen is. I think because it's the word lead generation, we are generating leads rather than seeing it as we are in a customer service role and we are providing a service to the people outside of our immediate clients. Like, see it as I'm helping people and that is my job. Is my job to help people within a fitness space? Yes, that's lead gen. I think sometimes people overthink it and they get caught up in their own heads of people don't want to be sold to, people don't want to be pestered. You're not pestering, you're not trying to sell. You're trying to help them. You're trying to coach them in some capacity. Some people will need more coaching, some people will need less coaching or less help. Sometimes it's just having a friendly conversation with someone on the gym floor. So for me, getting more confident is about completely switching your mindset. And that's how lead gen never felt like lead gen to me on the gym floor, because I was just trying to either pass the time on shift by being friendly, getting to know people, or I was genuinely just trying to help as many people as possible who looked like they didn't have a clue. And then that might lead into, oh, I'm doing a class or I'm about to put a workshop on. Or I've got a survey, have you got 2 minutes to help me just understand what people are struggling with or what they want support with? That's my immediate thought there, is like you have to change your perspective on it.
I agree too. I agree. The best, listen, this landed quite well the other week, and I think maybe it needs saying again. The best way to see it sometimes for some people is that if that was your gym, how would you deliver the customer service in that gym? If that was your gym, how would you expect people to be greeted as they come through the door, supported on the gym floor? When they're left to it, would you have this conscious feeling of, shit, how can I help these members achieve their goals? You would. But if that was your gym and they were relying on your finances, were relying on them staying, all of that type of stuff, you would deliver gold standard, world-class customer service. You'd make sure you know everybody's names. You'd understand them more, what they did, families, all of that. You'd take a real interest into their lives because you know you need to deliver great customer service. You will probably offer certain things every month to help engage them all of that. When you start seeing it in that way, it becomes less about feeling like you have to do it and instead that you want to do it. And you will have some people with a fixed mindset going, yeah, but it's not my gym. Well, you need to get a fucking grip of your life, mate.
Yeah. That was my answer to the other question when it was like, what would you do if you're building a PT business in a commercial gym? And my instant thought was I would act as though I had just opened that gym and I was the one in charge of it.
Great. And the last question of the day is, do people ever feel fully stable with money in this job being self-employed? Nick?
Yes.
I think.
And that concludes our podcast today. No. Yeah, I do think so. Definitely. Listen, there's always, is anything 100%? No. Like a stable job in a company is not 100%, right? Is it more stable than being self-employed? Yes. We could probably argue definitely it is. But also, there are so many people now that have a regular income, guaranteed income, that still are struggling financially when it comes to making ends meet, right? So I think one of the positives and huge positives that you have of being self-employed is that you don't have to wait 12 months to get a 2% pay rise every year, where you could make that difference in a week, in a month, you know. And I think one of the things that enables people to be financially stable is, first of all, understanding personal circumstances, is understanding their financial implications of their business from a revenue perspective, and also managing their money as well. I think comes down to half the battle most of the time. So yes, but with quite a few probably caveats to it.
I also think your ceiling of earnings goes up and then you get used to that. So even when it drops a little bit, it feels unstable. But actually, if you were to look back 12 months ago, it's probably still more than you were earning 12 months ago. And I sometimes have to check myself on that. Like if I have a month where a couple of clients are due to leave at the same time, I'm like, ooh, that's a big drop. But I'm also like, it's still enough to pay all my outgoings and give me, what I've budgeted for that month. It's just that it's not as much as it has been, but it's still more than it was 12 months ago. So I think that sometimes makes it feel like it's unstable because it can change month to month. Like if your trends are still going in the same direction, yeah, it's like having that understanding can help.
And you always move your means, don't you? You always live to your means, don't you? Like,
yeah.
If you were, if you weren't aware of it, or, and everyone's got a different relationship with finances, haven't they? Everyone has. If the problems you have now earning $3,000 a month, $5,000 a month, is the same problems you're going to have when you earn 10 grand a month and 20 grand a month. Like they just are. It just is. I would say for 19% of people, because they just live towards their means. So in a nutshell, yeah, I think there is, genuinely. I'm not saying it's easy at all. I'm not saying that flippantly at all. I'm not saying there's not stressful times at all, but I do believe you can do that. And especially now, where you can make money through your phone. I was watching, speaking of AI, went down a bit of a rabbit hole, and there's literally YouTube channels that are created using AI, faceless AI, and they'll go onto TikTok channels, look what's trending, and basically copy that channel, pop it onto a YouTube channel, grow it, and earn money off the advertising, off the back of it. And it's stupid shit. Like,
God.
Like my nephew and nieces, they watch kids play games.
Yeah, I hate that.
And they sit there and they watch people draw. It's just fucking bizarre, like counting pebbles for half an hour. But so AI and pictures is just funny. People dressing shit up as their dogs up as whatever, just random bollocks. It's just random shit. So if you want a money earning scheme, go on TikTok, look at the most stupidest random shit you can find, and get AI to replicate lots and lots and lots of that. Fuck it on a YouTube channel and sit back.
There you go. Job's a good one.
Come to us for more business advice. Well, that's had everything.
Hasn't it?
That's had everything.
What should I call this one this week?
Have we finished yet?
I think so.
Where's the outro?
Is it an outro?
I think anyone's made it this far.
No chance.
If you have, I told you that we chat shit.
If you have made it this far, you can have a 3 month free.
If you made it this far and you're not in the academy already,
you can come in for free.
You can literally have a month free.
What's the code word? You've got to prove that you made it to the end. DM me the word.
Dickhead.
I was going to go with piss flaps, but imagine you getting DMs now. Just going.
Yeah, skies.
No.
Skies.
Morning, piss flaps. I hope someone does, please.
You'll get a free month. There we go. You know.